Grid down. Week 47. Your assets are gone. Starving, you spot what looks like carrots in an overgrown yard. Berries glinting in the failing light. False hope. One bite. That's all it takes. There are no medevacs, no aid stations, just you, alone, as your organs begin shutting down in agony over the next 48 hours. This is the fatal foraging error. Welcome to the briefing. The world you knew is gone. Every rule has been rewritten. The grocery stores were looted and burned months ago. The strategic reserves are a ghost. Now food is an asset you secure or you die. But the desperation driving you to search for wild edibles is a weapon the unprepared will turn on themselves. I'm giving this brief because I've seen it happen. I've seen good people reach for what looks like a common wild carrot, not knowing they're holding a death sentence. They see what looks like a wild grape and think they've found a treasure. They haven't. They've found their own tombstone. There are three specific plants, three treacherous lookalikes that desperate, untrained people will turn to when the grid is down for good. These aren't exotic jungle flora. They're in your parks. They're on the roadsides. They might be in your backyard right now. Mistaking them for their edible twins guarantees a slow, agonizing, and certain death. This intel has one purpose: to ensure you and yours don't make that fatal mistake. Pay attention. Your life depends on it. The first operator in this deadly triad is perhaps the most infamous: poison hemlock, Conium maculatum. This is the plant that killed Socrates. In a world without emergency rooms, it'll kill anyone foolish enough to mistake it for its harmless lookalike, the wild carrot, also known as Queen Anne's lace, Dorcas carota. The scenario is brutally simple. You're hungry. Your kids are hungry. You're scanning a field edge, and you see it. A plant with delicate fern-like leaves and a cluster of small white flowers in an umbrella shape. It looks just like the wild carrots you've read about. You dig up the root, thinking you've secured a resource. You take a bite. You have just sealed your fate. The mistake is easy to make, which is what makes it so deadly. Both plants thrive in the same disturbed soils. But there are critical differences you must burn into your memory. One is medicine, the other is a death sentence. You better know the difference. The number one identifier is the stem. Memorize this. The stem of a wild carrot is green and covered in fine, bristly hairs. Run your fingers along it. It feels fuzzy. The stem of poison hemlock is smooth, hairless, and almost always marked with distinct, sinister-looking purple or reddish splotches. Think of them as nature's kill markings. On a mature plant, these blotches can merge, making the whole lower stem look purple. A hemlock stem is also hollow. The wild carrot stem is solid. The smell is another critical tell. Crush the leaves. Wild carrot smells like a carrot. Poison hemlock, when crushed, gives off a foul, musty odor some compare to mouse urine. Your nose can save your life. Finally, look at the structure. Poison hemlock is a monster, sometimes hitting 10 feet, towering over the much shorter 2 to 5 foot wild carrot. Hemlock also has multiple smaller flower clusters and lacks the single tiny dark purple flower, often found in the very center of a wild carrot's main flower cluster. Ignore these signs and you will ingest coniine, a potent neurotoxin. This isn't a simple stomachache, it's an ascending muscular paralysis. It starts in your legs and works its way up. You remain fully conscious while your body becomes your own prison. The final stage is paralysis of the respiratory muscles. With no ventilator, you suffocate. Fully aware, in a grid-down world, a lethal dose is a 100% fatality rate, no exceptions. The second killer is a master of deception, preying on the assumption that a cluster of dark purple berries must be safe. Meet pokerweed, Phytolacca americana. It's found all across North America, thriving at the edges of woods and in open fields. It's an easy mistake for the desperate who confuse it with elderberries or wild grapes. Imagine weeks of hunger, and you see a flash of deep purple. It's a large bush loaded with clusters of shiny, blackish-purple berries hanging in dense bunches that look just like grapes. Your stomach growls. Berries are sugar, Berries are survival. You pluck a handful and eat. This is a catastrophic error. While birds eat these berries, every single part of the pokeweed plant is toxic to us. The roots are the deadliest, but the leaves, stems, and even the ripe berries contain a potent cocktail of toxins, including powerful saponins. The effects are violent and swift. It starts with a burning in the mouth, then severe abdominal cramps, intense vomiting, and bloody diarrhea. The key to avoidance is identification. Pokeweed has a thick, smooth, often bright magenta or reddish stem. It's unmistakable once you know what to look for. Elderberry stems are woody and covered in small brown bumps, not bright pink. The berry clusters are another dead giveaway. Elderberries grow in broad, flat-topped or drooping umbrella-like clusters. Pokeweed berries hang in long, dangling, grape-like bunches. Up close, an individual pokeweed berry is slightly flattened with a dimple in the center like a tiny pumpkin. Elderberries are perfectly round. If you make the mistake of eating pokeweed, the toxins wage war on your gastrointestinal system. The violent vomiting and diarrhea are the body's attempt to expel the poison. But without IV fluids, this leads to rapid, severe dehydration and shock. Death comes not from the toxin directly shutting down an organ, but from the cascade of systemic collapse. For a child, as few as 10 uncooked berries can be fatal. Our third and final plant is the one whose very name is a warning, deadly nightshade, Atropa belladonna. This plant is the stuff of legend. Its danger lies in its alluring, single, shiny black berries, which can be mistaken for an edible wild cherry. The grid is down. You're foraging a shaded, damp area. You find a plant with dull green leaves and bell-shaped purplish flowers. But what catches your eye are the berries, a perfect glossy black, about the size of a small cherry. They look sweet. They look juicy. You've found Atropa belladonna. Just 2 to 5 of these berries are enough to kill a child. A single leaf can be fatal to an adult. The key is separating it from its less lethal relatives. The most critical difference is the berry. Deadly nightshade berries grow alone, 1 berry per spot. Edible when ripe, black nightshade berries grow in clusters like tiny bunches of grapes. The flowers are also a giveaway. Deadly nightshade has solitary, bell-shaped, dull purple flowers. Black nightshade has small, white, star-shaped flowers with a prominent yellow center, much like a tiny tomato flower. The payload here is chemical, atropine and scopolamine. They're powerful agents that wage war on the part of your nervous system that regulates everything you don't think about. The symptoms are a descent into madness. It starts with a mouth like sand, blurred vision, and sensitivity to light as your pupils dilate uncontrollably. Your heart rate redlines. Then the confusion, slurred speech, loss of balance, hallucinations, and delirium begin. A person in this state isn't just dying, they're a liability. They're a danger to everyone in your perimeter. This phase is followed by convulsions, coma, and finally, death from respiratory failure. Without the specific antidote and advanced hospital care, your chances are 0. You don't just die, you lose your mind first. Let's be brutally clear about what happens to your body when there are no doctors. These plants don't just kill you, they dismantle you. With poison hemlock, the coniine systematically disconnects your brain from your muscles. You feel your limbs grow heavy, then useless. You try to breathe, but the signal isn't getting through. You're trapped inside a perfectly conscious mind as you suffocate. With pokeweed, the toxins wage war on your gut. It's a violent, bloody purge. You lose fluids faster than you can possibly replace them. Your blood pressure plummets, your kidneys fail, and your heart struggles to beat. You die from shock and systemic collapse caused by extreme dehydration. With deadly nightshade, atropine hijacks your entire autonomic nervous system. Your body's regulators are thrown into chaos. Your heart beats itself into exhaustion. You develop a raging fever, and your brain is flooded with nightmarish hallucinations before you fall into a coma. Picture it, gut, twisting like a knife, vision blurring into chaos, heart pounding like a war drum against your ribs. There is no morphine, there are no IV drips, there are no ventilators, there is just you on the floor of a cold, dark house as your family watches you die. This is the reality of a foraging mistake when the system has collapsed. Memory fails under stress. A phone app is useless without power. The only truly reliable field tool is a laminated, waterproof physical identification guide for your AO, your area of operations. Get one. Put one in every bag. But what if you lose it? What if you encounter a plant you can't ID? In that last-ditch scenario, you execute the U.S. Army's Universal Edibility Test. This is a protocol of last resort. It's slow because it has to be. Rush this test and you're dead. Do it flawlessly or don't do it at all. You test only one part of the plant at a time. An edible leaf does not mean an edible root. Understood? Step 1. Fast. Take nothing by mouth but purified water for 8 hours. This ensures any reaction is from the plant. Step 2. Inspect. Break the plant into its components: leaves, stems, roots, flowers. Smell it. Strong acidic smells are red flags. Step 3. Skin contact. Crush the part you're testing. Rub it on a sensitive patch of skin like you're in a wrist. Wait 8 hours. Any burning, itching, or rash means the plant failed. Discard it. Step 4. Mouth contact. If the skin test is clear, touch a small piece to your lip for 3 minutes. If there's no reaction, place it on your tongue for 15 minutes. Do not chew. No reaction? Proceed. Step 5. Chew. Chew a tiny pinch and hold it in your mouth for 15 minutes. Do not swallow. If you taste anything bitter or soapy, spit it out, rinse your mouth, and abort the test. Step 6. Swallow. If all is clear, swallow that single, small portion. Then you wait. Wait for 8 hours. Drink only purified water. Step 7. Observe. If you feel any nausea, cramping, or any ill effect whatsoever, induce vomiting immediately and drink as much water as you can. The plant is poisonous. Step 8. Escalate. After 8 hours with 0 ill effects, eat about a tablespoon of the same part, prepared the same way. Wait another 8 hours. If you are still clear, you can assume that specific part is safe to eat in moderation. This entire process takes over 24 hours to clear one part of one plant. It is a grim but necessary protocol when you have 0 margin for error. The time for casual learning is over. In a world without safety nets, knowledge isn't just power. It's the wall between your family eating and your family dying. The fatal foraging error is a silent threat that will claim more lives in a long-term collapse than most people can imagine. It won't be a gunshot. It will be a quiet, agonizing mistake made in a moment of desperation. Your protocol, starting now, is this. First, stock food. Build a deep pantry. The longer you go without needing to forage, the better your odds. Second, get training. Take a real, in-person foraging class in your AO. Learn from an expert. Don't rely on pictures. Third, carry a physical, waterproof plant ID guide in every vehicle and every go bag. Make it part of your EDC, your everyday carry. And finally, burn this mantra into your brain. Look does not equal eat. Test or die. There are no second chances out here. There's only preparation and regret. Make your choice. Briefing concluded.